Imagine for a moment that everything you struggle with, every fear, every self-doubt, isn't merely an obstacle to overcome, but a map leading you to your true purpose. Think about it. What if the key to understanding who you are and what you're meant to do lies in the very parts of yourself that you've tried to ignore, suppress, or deny? Today we'll explore one of the most transformative concepts in the realm of psychology and philosophy, Carl Jung's theory of the shadow. This isn't just about theory or abstract ideas. It's about uncovering profound truths that can reshape your life. By the end of this journey, you'll not only understand your shadow, but also discover how it holds the secret to your purpose, your potential, and your freedom. The final revelation we'll uncover is perhaps the most powerful and life-changing of all. Carl Jung, a pioneer of depth psychology, believed that the shadow is the unconscious part of ourselves that we reject or disown. It consists of all the traits, desires, and aspects of our personality that we consider unacceptable or shameful. Yet, paradoxically, this very shadow contains the seeds of our greatest strengths and the blueprint for a fulfilling life. Think about it. How often do we avoid certain thoughts or behaviors because they make us uncomfortable? How often do we judge others for traits we secretly recognize in ourselves? If you've ever caught yourself reacting strongly to someone else's actions, there's a good chance it's because they've touched a part of your own shadow. Jung himself once wrote, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." The shadow isn't just about darkness, it's about potential. It's about the energy we bury because we're too afraid or ashamed to face it. Take a moment to reflect on your own life. Are there parts of yourself that you try to keep hidden from others, or even from yourself? Perhaps it's a fear of failure, a deep-seated anger, or a persistent envy. Maybe it's a passion or desire you've convinced yourself is impractical or wrong. What if these aspects of yourself weren't flaws to be eradicated, but messages waiting to be understood? Carl Jung believed that by confronting our shadow, we can integrate it into our conscious awareness, leading to what he called individuation, a process of becoming whole. This isn't easy. It requires courage, honesty, and a willingness to step into the unknown, but the rewards are immeasurable. Jung described individuation as the journey of discovering who you truly are, not just the persona you show to the world, but the complete and authentic self that includes both light and shadow. He argued that our greatest growth comes not from rejecting our shadow, but from embracing it. Consider this. Every hero in mythology faces a moment of confrontation with their own darkness. Think of the Greek hero Hercules, who had to face not only external monsters, but also his own rage and flaws, or Luke Skywalker in Star Wars, who had to confront the darkness within himself before he could truly become a Jedi. These stories mirror our own psychological journeys. The question is, are you willing to take that first step? Are you ready to look at the parts of yourself you've been running from and ask, what are you trying to teach me? Jung's philosophy teaches us that our shadow isn't an enemy, but a guide. It whispers to us through our dreams, our fears, and even our relationships. Have you ever had a recurring dream or felt an inexplicable pull toward a particular idea or person? These may be signs of your shadow trying to communicate. The process of working with your shadow begins with awareness. Pay attention to the emotions and reactions that feel disproportionate or intense. These are often clues to the aspects of yourself that you've hidden away. Once you identify these traits, the next step is acceptance. This doesn't mean acting on every impulse or indulging every desire. It means acknowledging these parts of yourself without judgment and understanding their role in your life. Imagine how liberating it would be to no longer fear your flaws, but instead see them as tools for growth. Think of how much more authentic and confident you could become by embracing your whole self. In the coming sections, we'll delve deeper into how you can identify and integrate your shadow. We'll uncover practical steps for turning what feels like darkness into light and explore how this integration can lead you to your life's purpose. And remember, the most profound insight is still to come. Stay with us, because by the end of this journey, you'll have a roadmap not only for understanding your shadow, but for using it as a guide to your destiny. Let's continue this journey into the depths of your inner world and uncover the extraordinary potential that lies within. Let's dive deeper into the mysterious world of the shadow and unravel how understanding this hidden aspect of yourself can unlock not only your purpose, but also a profound sense of inner peace. The shadow manifests in countless ways. It can appear in our habits, our relationships, and especially in our reaction. Have you ever experienced an emotional outburst and wondered later why you reacted so strongly? That moment where emotion seems to overtake reason is often your shadow revealing itself. But why does the shadow have such power over us? Jung believed that it stems from its unconscious nature. The more we deny or suppress an aspect of ourselves, the more control it gains. In a sense, it's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. The more force you use, the more violently it resurfaces when you can no longer keep it down. Now, think about this. If you could bring that hidden part to the surface and understand its origins, how much more control would you have over your life? How much freer would you feel? One of the most compelling examples of shadow work is the idea of projection. Jung argued that when we disown parts of ourselves, we often see those traits in others, amplifying our reactions to them. For instance, if you struggle with feelings of inadequacy, you might criticize others who seem overconfident or dismiss those who excel in areas where you feel insecure. This isn't just a psychological quirk, it's a mirror the world reflects back to us, the parts of ourselves that we have yet to acknowledge. Jung explained it this way: knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darkness of other people. Take a moment to reflect. Is there someone in your life who triggers a strong emotional response? Perhaps it's a colleague, a friend, or even a family member. Instead of focusing on their behavior, ask yourself, what does this reaction reveal about me? What part of my shadow am I projecting onto them? This isn't about self-blame. It's about self-discovery. Each projection is an opportunity to reclaim a piece of yourself and bring it into the light of awareness. Let's take this concept further by exploring how the shadow relates to our purpose. Often, the parts of ourselves we suppress are closely tied to our unique gifts and passion. For example, someone who suppresses their creativity out of fear of failure may find that embracing this suppressed side leads them to their life's work. Jung believed that purpose isn't something we find externally. It's something we uncover internally. It's about aligning with our authentic self, which includes both the light and the shadow. In his words, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. But how do we begin this process of alignment? It starts with self-inquiry. Ask yourself questions that challenge your assumptions about who you are. What do I fear most about myself? What have I been told is unacceptable about me? What passions or dreams have I abandoned because they felt impractical or unworthy? Write these down. Reflect on them. You might be surprised at what emerges when you give your shadow a voice. Another powerful tool for shadow work is journaling. Jung himself kept extensive journals, using them to explore his unconscious mind. He often encouraged his patients to write down their dreams, as dreams are a direct line to the unconscious. In your dreams, a love, or even an event, pay attention to recurring themes or symbols and ask yourself, what message might my unconscious be trying to convey? Now, let's consider the transformative power of integrating the shadow. Imagine a painter who refuses to use dark colors in their work. Their paintings may be beautiful, but they lack depth and contrast. When we embrace our shadow, we become like an artist who uses the full spectrum of colors, light and dark, to create a masterpiece. Integration doesn't mean acting on every dark impulse or letting the shadow dominate your life. Instead, it means understanding and accepting these aspects as part of your humanity. This acceptance fosters compassion not only for yourself, but also for others. You begin to see that everyone carries a shadow, and this shared experience connects us on a profound, The journey to embrace your shadow is not a one-time event, it's a lifelong process. It requires patience, courage, and a commitment to self-growth. But the rewards are immense. You gain clarity about your purpose, a deeper sense of inner peace, and the ability to live authentically. And here's a critical insight. Your purpose isn't just about you. Jung believed that our individuation contributes to the collective unconscious, the shared pool of human experience. When you confront your shadow and align with your true self, you don't just transform your own life, you inspire and elevate those around you. In the next section, we'll explore the practical steps to integrating your shadow into your daily life. We'll discuss how embracing this hidden side can lead to healthier relationships, greater creativity, and a life that feels truly aligned with who you are. The most profound truth is yet to come. Stay with us as we uncover the ultimate revelation about your shadow and how it holds the key to your destiny. As we journey further into the depths of Jungian philosophy, let's focus on how to apply the insights of shadow work in everyday life. Understanding your shadow is a powerful start, but true transformation comes through integration. This is the bridge between awareness and action, where you begin to weave your hidden aspects into the fabric of your being. One of the first steps in this process is practicing radical self-honesty. This is about looking at yourself without filters or excuses. It requires courage to admit, yes, I feel jealousy, or yes, I sometimes judge others unfairly. But here's the key. Self-honesty isn't about judgment, it's about awareness. Think about it like cleaning a cluttered room. You can't organize or make use of the space until you first acknowledge the mess. In the same way, you can't integrate your shadow until you recognize its presence. A practical way to begin this practice is by paying attention to your emotional triggers. The next time you feel a strong reaction, whether it's anger, fear, or even excessive admiration, pause and ask yourself, why am I reacting this way? What does this situation reveal about me? Is there a part of myself I'm projecting onto this person or event? For example, if you find yourself irritated by someone who seems overly confident, consider whether this irritation stems from a part of yourself that feels insecure, or perhaps their confidence reminds you of a trait you've suppressed, your own desire to step into the spotlight. This process of self-inquiry can feel uncomfortable at first. It's tempting to retreat into blame or defensiveness, but remember, the goal isn't to criticize yourself, it's to understand yourself. Each trigger is a doorway to deeper self-awareness. Once you've identified aspects of your shadow, the next step is dialogue. Jung often encouraged his patients to engage with their shadow as if it were a separate entity. This might sound unusual, but it's a way of externalizing and understanding these hidden parts. Imagine sitting down with this part of yourself, perhaps the jealous side, the fearful side, or the critical side, and having a conversation. What would it say to you? What does it need? What wisdom might it hold? This dialogue can take many forms. You might write it out as a conversation, speak it aloud when you're alone, or explore it through creative expression like art or movement. The form doesn't matter as much as the intention, to understand rather than suppress. As you practice this dialogue, you'll likely discover something surprising. The aspects of yourself that you've feared or rejected often contain valuable gifts. Your anger might reveal a passion for justice. Your fear might highlight what you truly value. Your envy might point toward unfulfilled desires that deserve attention. Jung observed that in all chaos, there is a cosmos. In all disorder, a secret order. What appears dark or threatening often contains precisely what we need for growth and wholeness. Consider the archetype of the wounded healer. Many therapists and healers enter their professions because of their own wounds. By confronting and working through their pain, they gain the compassion and insight to help others. Their wounds become their wisdom. The same principle applies in countless fields. The shy person who overcomes their fear of speaking often becomes the most empathetic leader. The artist who embraces their unusual perspective creates the most original work. The entrepreneur who confronts their fear of failure builds the most innovative business. Your shadow, when integrated, doesn't diminish you. It completes you. It adds depth, resilience, and authenticity to your character. As Jung put it, the best shadow is a moral problem that challenges the whole ego personality. To become conscious of it involves recognizing the dark aspects of the personality as present and real. This brings us to a crucial point about shadow work. It's not just about personal healing. It's about finding your unique contribution to the world. Jung believed that each person has a distinctive role to play in the collective evolution of humanity. He called this your vocation or calling. Your calling isn't separate from your wounds or your shadow. It emerges directly from them. The very aspects of yourself that you've tried to hide or overcome often contain the seeds of your greatest purpose. Think of Nelson Mandela, who transformed his experience of imprisonment into a commitment to freedom and reconciliation. Or consider Oprah Winfrey, who channeled her difficult childhood into creating platforms for healing and understanding. These individuals didn't succeed despite their shadows. They succeeded because they integrated them. So ask yourself, what if your greatest struggle contains the key to your greatest contribution? What if the parts of yourself you've tried to hide actually hold the blueprint for your most authentic life? This is where many people misunderstand shadow work. They assume it's about dwelling in darkness or negativity. But the ultimate goal isn't to remain in the shadow. It's to bring the shadow into the light, to transform what was unconscious into conscious awareness. When you integrate your shadow, something remarkable happens. The energy you once used to suppress or deny aspects of yourself becomes available for creativity, connection, and purpose. It's like redirecting a river that was flowing underground. Suddenly, that force becomes a source of nourishment and power. This integration isn't a destination, it's an ongoing journey. Throughout your life, new aspects of your shadow will emerge as you grow and face new challenges. The process is cyclical. Awareness leads to acceptance, acceptance leads to integration, and integration leads to new awareness. One of the most beautiful aspects of this journey is how it changes your relationships with others. As you become more accepting of your own complexity, you naturally extend that acceptance to those around you. You recognize that everyone carries a shadow, and this recognition fosters compassion rather than judgment. Imagine how differently you might relate to others if you could see their difficult behaviors not as personal attacks, but as expressions of their own unintegrated shadows. This perspective doesn't excuse harmful actions, but it does allow for understanding and authentic connection. Now, as we approach the culmination of our exploration, let's turn to the ultimate revelation about the shadow, the insight that Jung considered most profound. The shadow isn't merely a psychological concept, it's a gateway to the deeper dimensions of the human experience. Jung wrote about what he called the numinous, those moments of awe, wonder, and transcendence that connect us to something larger than ourselves. Paradoxically, it's often through confronting our darkest aspects that we experience our greatest moments of illumination. As we penetrate the layers of our personal shadow, we eventually touch what Jung called the collective unconscious, the shared reservoir of archetypes and wisdom that connects all of humanity. This is the extraordinary truth. Your shadow work isn't just about personal healing, it's about participating in the evolution of human consciousness. Every time you bring an aspect of your shadow into awareness, you contribute to the light of collective understanding. Your journey isn't separate from the journey of humanity. Your healing isn't just personal, it's universal. Your purpose emerges from the intersection of your unique gifts and the world's deepest needs. As you continue this exploration of your shadow, remember that you're not alone. Countless others are walking this path of integration and authenticity. Together, we're creating a new way of being, one that honors both the light and the shadow, both the individual and the collective. The poet Rumi captured this wisdom centuries ago when he wrote, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." Your shadow isn't your enemy. It's the doorway to your deepest self, your authentic purpose, and your connection to all that is. So I invite you now to look at your life through this transformative lens. What parts of yourself have you been denying or suppressing? What emotions trigger you most strongly? What patterns keep repeating in your relationship? These are all guideposts pointing toward your shadow and ultimately toward your wholeness. The journey begins with a simple yet profound choice. The choice to turn toward what you've been turning away from, to face what you've been avoiding, to embrace what you've been rejecting. In that choice lies your freedom, your authenticity, and your purpose. The shadow you've feared contains the very key to the life you've been seeking all along. Will you have the courage to claim it? Remember, in Jung's immortal words, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Your shadow isn't your enemy, it's your greatest teacher, and the lessons it holds will transform not just your life, but your very understanding of what it means to be human.